Hi, Ben here and welcome back to the workshop for another Work in Progress Wednesday. So it's been a very busy week so far. We've been getting lots of blades prepared, getting lots of handles shaped, and we're trying to get lots of things shipped out this week. Now I'm back in the workshop, and this is probably the most disgusting room to most normal people when they come to visit the workshop, because it's very gritty, very dusty, but this is where I spend most of my time preparing blades and preparing handles. We've got lots of different bits of kit in here, but some of my favourite bits of kit are my trusty Radius Master grinders. I use these for lots of different applications, and we get lots of questions about these particular grinders. So we thought we'd give you a little update. I've had these for probably about 14 years now, so talk you through some of the features that I like on it and what to look for when you're buying a knife grinder. So some people might think I've actually got a bit of an obsession with Radius Master grinders. I've actually got 4 in the workshop, and I tend to use them for specific things. This one is mostly used for handle shaping and also for doing all the Kydex sheaths and things like that. What I have done with this particular grinder is I've taken the guards off, purely because I'm mostly using it at low speed and I'm trying to use all these different radiuses on these wheels. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but it just works for me. Also, what I've done, when I bought these particular grinders, they were all fixed speed grinders. They were just a single speed motor on there. What I've actually done is I've converted them to a 3-phase motor and then used a inverter drive to turn that into a variable speed grinder, so it's slightly different to how I had it when it was new. The main thing that I love about these particular grinders is if you're setting up in knife making and you are limited for space and you can only afford one grinder, this is a great asset to buy, because it's like 6 grinders or more all combined into one. So there's different sections to this machine that make it so versatile. You've got this front edge, and what I'll do is I'll take the belt off to start with so you can see all these different areas. So it's a very quick release belt mechanism, which we'll show you later. But what you've got here is a flat platen. So that is obviously used for all flat grinding, for grinding your bevels and profiling and things like that. What I have done to mine to improve it, just because I've used it so much over the years, is I've added a piece of carbide to the platen itself, so it never ever wears and stays truly flat. So you've got this beautiful flat platen here, which is great. And what is included when you buy the grinder is you get a little tool rest that slips onto the grinder. They have changed the design of this slightly now on the more modern machines, but the principle is the same. So that slips on like so, very easily, with some quick release handles. And this can be set obviously to different angles. You can actually adjust this down to about 45 degrees. I've got this set just at dead 90 to here, so that I can grind very, very square and very accurately to my flat platen itself. And the thing that's so good about it is it's so quick and easy to remove. And you can see that we've got those adjuster screws there, so if you do want to adjust the angle of the actual tool rest itself. The other great thing about this is you've got all these different sized wheels on here. So some grinders are what they call a belt drive or a direct drive. This is effectively a direct drive grinder, because this 8-inch wheel is connected directly to the shaft of the motor. So you get very little vibration and it's incredibly powerful. Having a great big 8-inch drive wheel like this means that the actual sort of surface feet per minute of the belt is really quite high. You get lots and lots of speed out of this as well, which is fantastic. Now obviously most grinders you can't necessarily use the drive wheel as an actual shaping wheel, but because this is the Radius Master and all of these are rubber, you can actually use that 8-inch wheel for grinding on as well. And this is where the Radius Master really excels. There's this spring-loaded handle here. You can't quite see it from that side, but there's a handle here that you can lift up, and that allows this to be moved and changed positions. And there's about 5 different settings, so you can move it around. So if you did actually want to use this wheel for shaping, you could actually use that 8-inch contoured wheel for grinding handles and shapes, and you can even get a hollow grinding attachment for it, so you can actually hollow grind bevels on there as well. I mostly use that in the horizontal position, so I'll show you that later. You've also got this 3.5 inch wheel here, which again is rubber mounted, rubber contact wheel as well, so you can actually use that for grinding and profiling as well. And then you've even got these smaller diameter wheels here, so if you're wanting to do finger choils and notches and things like that. Now most grinders, when you've got all these different size wheels, you have to move a tool arm out of the grinder, and it can be a little bit slow and sort of break up the flow of actually making a knife. Whereas this, because of all these clever little handles and these little systems here that they've got on the machine, you can just pull one of these handles out and then actually rotate the actual top idler here and select whichever size wheel you want. So we've got actually 3 wheels on this one. So we've got a 2-inch wheel there, we've got an inch wheel there, and we've got an 1.5-inch wheel on that side as well. So with all those different diameters, I can pretty much do whatever I need for shaping handles and things like that. It's almost like perfect for the knife maker, really. And where this grinder really excels over most of the grinders out there is brilliant in the vertical position, but you've also got this adjustable setup here on this pedestal, so you can flip this whole grinder over and then you can use it in the horizontal position and use all those same diameters and radiuses on those different contact wheels for all those different aspects of knife making. Now I tend to do most of my handle shaping in this position, purely because I can sculpt on all those different diameters and get all those lovely Coke bottle shaped handles and things like that, which people are sort of that know that they can get from us. Again, you get some great tool rests that work in this horizontal position. So you've got this platform here that fits over this end. So again, if you're cutting in those contours when you're profiling blades, that works absolutely great. And you've also got an absolute dead horizontal one which fits on that same setup as in the vertical position, but now we've got a 90-degree platform that is vertical to our platen there. So if you're trying to get all those lovely scratch patterns of your spine of your knife running in one direction, this is how you do it, really. So we'll remove all those and we'll show you how easy it is to swap the belts over on the Radius Master. So we'll put it back into its vertical position and we'll get a belt. It doesn't matter which belt you're using. The belt diameter on these and belt size is 1,220 millimeters long and 50 mil wide, so it's like a 2x48 grinder, really. And you slip those over, slip them over the drive belt and slip them over the front contact wheel there, and then if you come to the side, you'll see that there's this little spring loaded release handle here. So you just push that up, the spring tensions, and now we've got just the right tension on our belt. Now a few people asked, because they saw me using this grinder in various videos, but they couldn't work out how I was taking the belts off. So a little bit of technique over the years. What I tend to do is get 2 hands, I apply pressure on the underside of the belt and the top side of the belt, obviously not when it's running, make sure it's stationary at this stage. Apply the pressure and you can see that it starts to depress this spring, and that lever just drops back into its position and into its lock position. You'll probably find with use that sometimes a bit of dust and things builds up in there, so what I tend to do just to check that that's going to lock in place, I actually put my thumb on top and just apply a little bit more pressure with my thumb, just so that I know that it locks into place. And then you can obviously take your belt off, replace it with whatever grip belt you want next, release the tension, and you're good to go. Now, one person said that they did have an issue, the belt snapped, and obviously the belt snapped and it meant that this was in its locked position and you can't get the belt on, and they were like, oh no, how do we get around this problem? Some people struggle with it. What I've found over the years the easy way to do it is to put it into the horizontal position again, and then use your whole body weight to push that spring in and then flick that catch. Simple as that, really. So it's not really that much of an issue, really, as long as you know how to do it. Same scenario if it comes to belt changing, you can do it in the horizontal position. The only thing that you've got to be a little bit more aware of is you're going to have to fight gravity a little bit, because that belt wants to slip down. So when you do put it on, you just have to be a bit of an octopus and make sure that you've got the belt in place just to prove that that's what happens before you actually release that tension. So keep it in place and then fire it off like that. Now when it comes to tracking on this grinder, the tracking of the belt actually uses this front idler that's on a slight cam, and that tilts the wheel. So to actually track the belt, I'll turn it on and you'll see it. We'll turn the speed right down. So this is the advantage with the variable speed, look. You can change the speed of the grinder. Now if I want to track the belt one way or the other, I literally just put my thumb onto this little tracking lever and I can push it away from me and it tracks to the right, put it towards me and it tracks to the left. So if you're trying to get nice plunges and stuff for your bevels, you can track it off these pages of Platen. That works great, really. So really versatile grinder, and obviously with having the variable speed, I can make it go as fast or as slow as I like. I mean that's full speed with very little vibration on the machine. And then obviously we can turn that right down. So if you're polishing and sharpening, you can run that as slow as you like then. So very good tracking on this machine. And very dependable. So yeah, the Radius Master from this out comes all the way from Australia, this particular grinder. But yeah, John Price, who invented this setup, really good guy, obviously knows his stuff about machinery. A few people have tried to sort of take this idea, this concept, but nobody's quite nailed it like the Radius Masters. So the grinder itself obviously comes on this pedestal, and I've sort of tweaked it a little bit. I've added all these extra bits of wood under it itself just to raise the height slightly, just so that it's perfect for my back. I do suffer a bit with my back, so working it at exactly the right height is essential to me. Now you can get like a mobile base with the grinder, so you can sort of wheel it around your workshop, but what I find is just having it on this heavy piece of plywood, I can sort of move it around as I want to if I'm working on particular projects and stuff, and that works great for me. Now the only thing that this grinder doesn't sort of have sort of built into it is any kind of like built-in extraction, but what it does come with is it comes with these little slots on the actual pedestal itself, which are designed to actually store all your tool rests and things. But what I've done is I've just sort of modified it with my sort of very basic rudimentary woodworking skills, and I've got a bit of angle iron in there, and I've got these bits of wood, and what that allows me to do is to hook on my big extractor pipe. So if I am grinding lots of dusty handle material, I will have that placed directly under the grinder itself. And obviously if I'm working in this position, I can lift this up. I can either clamp this a little bit higher. This is why these little pony clamps are really handy. So you can clamp that pretty much in the right place just to get that dust really. So yeah, dust is the killer of the knife maker really. So if you can try and get most of it sucked away as possible, perfect really. So that's pretty much an updated overview of my Radius Master and the few modifications that I've made to it. Hope that sort of helps show you budding knife makers what grinder to look for really. But yeah, certainly I would say if you're limited for space, want something that can pretty much do everything, the Radius Master is the way to go really. So thanks for watching, hope you're enjoying the Work in Progress Wednesdays, and we will see you next week.